Okay, record. Okay, there's that. All right, let me get ready here. Okay, let's see. Eraser. Cherry, first, second, third, or fourth?
Third.
Third. Sophia?
Second.
Second. Jason? First. And Bo? Last. Okay, when you guys are ready, go ahead. Start. Let's go, buddy. Bo, or not Bo, Jason. Let's do it. Okay. Okay.
Hello, my name is Jason. Our group talk about Korean language. The order of presentation is me, Sophia, Cherry, and Bo. I talk about historical events related to Korea. First, Korean language invention. At the time, only Korean words were used, and using Chinese characters was written. But Chinese characters were complicated for ordinary citizens, so ordinary citizens had difficulty writing them. To solve this problem, King Sejong created a unique Korean character. This name is Hunminjeongeum, that means to teach the people the right to vote. However, it was fierce opposition from officials who feared that the unrest would occur. So it took time. It took time to the text to be widely used. Eventually, however, the Hunminjeongeum becomes deeply ingrained in Korean language. Second, the first Korean novel. This name is 홍길동전, and the author is Hyebyun. This novel criticized discrimination according to kin orders. It is said that 홍길동, born between noble and slave, becomes a righteous outlaw. This novel was a great shock at the time because it is first Korean novel, and the author Hyebyun parents were all nobles. The son of noble argued about writing a novel that criticized kin orders, and eventually Hyebyun was executed. Finally, the ordeal of Korean language. Korea was a colony of Japan from 1910 to 1945. Japan used many ways to extinguish the spirit of Korean. Korean language was severely damaged by this policy. Scholars created Korean researchers that a group of Korean researchers that secretly study Korean language. This group planned to build dictionary by collecting Korean dialects. However, the identity of group was revealed to Japan, and the members were arrested. Later, the manuscript was found missing and found in Seoul Station after Korea's independence. Any other question?
How old is the novel? You said the first Korean novel. How old is it? Like 1,000 years, 2,000 years? I'm just curious. If you don't know, it's
500.
Oh, 500. Okay. Okay. Good.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia. This time I introduce jobs about Korean. First job is Korean teacher. Korean teacher is a rising job because Korean user is going to rise. Having this job, people work in Korea or abroad school. Korean school teachers teach the students for Korean school curriculum and set the exam question mid or final term, a final exam. Abroad school people live live in various countries and meet various races people. So I think these people would have would have open mind and speak language of that country. Also, these people must have passion for teaching because I think teaching is very difficult. So passion will be motivation of that job. Second job is Korean researcher. Korean is made by sound and shape. So these people research about formation of Korean and Korean grammar. The National Institute of Korean Language is the typical Korean laboratory. Uh, Korean researcher is important for Korean history. History of Korean is history of Korean is will be light future of the language. Third job is writer. Writer is classified for poet and novel writer. Poets constructively express their feeling, and novel writers write practical or impractical story. Also, they have pure and subtle feeling because they send feeling to readers itself. Typical example of writer is Yoon Dong-ju, Gong Ji-young, Baek-seok, etc. Last job about Korean is copywriter. Copywriter work in uh, advertising company. They create creative phrase. That phrase is used for AD. AD is going AD is growing for in real life, so copywriter will be take a huge job of job words. Also, they have with a language and the language and create idea. Until now, I introduced jobs about Korean. Uh, Jobs about Korean are very various. So some people said Korean is declining, but in this aspect, jobs future of Korean is the light future. Any other question? Thank you for my listening.
Hello, my name is Cherry, and I'm going to talk about. I'm here to introduce some accredited journals public research related to Korean language and literature. I'm going to talk about it with some explanation of Korean language and literature. First, I'm going to talk about dialects of Korean. There are some differences in language, which is called dialectal differences. There are 8 sections in Korea, and the dialects are developed according to the provinces. This is why there are lots of dialectology in Korea. Dialectology thesis in Korea. It is important because it is dialects are the part of dialects are different in the accent and the length and the and even some words. So dialectologists study these through comparison. This is, for example, they can compare Gyeongsangdo dialect with Gyeonggi-do dialect. An accredited journal called Dialectology and the Korean dialectology is the most famous ones. Second, grammar of Korean. There are every language has its own grammar system. It consists of morphology, phonology, syntax, and semantics. Language is based on the sound, so the vocal language appears earlier than the written language. So phonology is about the vocal language. It it is studied functionally about vocal language. So linguists think that the phonology is the most important part of grammar. Third, the poems. Poems are affected by the times conditions. Korean poems are the most meaningful Korean poems are written in Japanese occupation. It is because it is about the resistance. Korean poems are which is written in Japanese occupation has the spirit of Korean, so it can be preserved to next generation. So it is important poems. So the many researchers study about the poems, and it remains a lot of meanings. Finally, the novels. Novels are, as I talk about it in first section, novels are affected by the times conditions. Novels are Korean novels are developed especially in after the Korean War. The war was occurred in because the ideology of North Korea and South Korea were different. But although ordinary civilians, it is not important to ordinary civilians, but they are sacrificed. They are fight and they died and they lost everything. They lost everything. So the and some intellectual people who
We have to stop or else we won't have enough
okay.
time, okay?
Sorry.
That's okay, we just won't have enough time to finish.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
next
for
one.
listening.
Yay!
Hi, I'm Mogyung. From now on, I'm going to talk about famous people in Korean. First of all, I would like to talk about Yoon Dong-ju. He is a famous poet and he is a famous fighter for Korea's independence. And he is a young poet who lived in the Korean-Japanese occupation. He was always contemplating about human life in poor and dark situation, and he also contemplating about his country, which is under oppression of Japanese colonial rulers. He has many famous works, and one of his famous work is The Starry Night. I like the praise because my youth has never ended yet, as it really touched me. Next, I would like to talk about poet Kim So-won. He is a famous poet, and he is considered a poet who is very, very important of Korea's traditional poem. He is a poet who is considered of Korea's folk poem, and he has really many famous poems, and which get a lot of people's attention. And out of his famous poem, I like the 진달래꽃 most, which means Korean roseberry. Let me tell you a few lines. When you leave not to see me, I will let you go without saying any words. On the road you go, you will go on a road which is scattered with flowers, which I did. The end. Why don't anyone want to talk to someone who is leaving, and why don't you guys want to stop receding person? But in this poem, the narrator let her lover go for him not to sorrow. This hurt, painful aspect really touched me. And last, I want to talk about poet Lee Sang-hwa. He is very famous poet, but also he is a famous fighter for Korea's independence, with, like Yoon Dong-ju. He has many famous works, but the most famous work is Spring Even in the Deprived Earth. It shows his intense willpower of Korea's independence. I really appreciate his endeavor for Korea's independence. Today we will talk about historical events related to Korean. Next, kinds of jobs about Korean, accredited journals about Korean, and famous papers in Korean. Do you have any questions? Thank you for listening.
Okay, you guys move to the back, move to the back. Group 2, come on up, come on up. Okay, we need to move along because that first one took like almost 17 minutes, so we may run out of time. So, okay. Tina. First, second, third, fourth? Second. Aun. Third. Sun. Last. Okay, Rachel, go ahead. Go.
Morning, guys. Now
Morning.
I'm going to introduce our major. Now we are talking about the famous person in Chinese literature by me, and historical events and Nobel Prizes related to Chinese literature by Tina, and jobs of English language and literature by Ha-eun, and best accredited schools of English literature by Sun. Now I'm going to tell you about the Chinese literature by named Sama Xing-ryu. Sama Xing-ryu is generally regarded as the greatest of composers in Chinese rhapsodies, and also, but not only his poems, but also his novels are best regarded in Chinese literature. He's the most loved writer in China, followed by Zhu Bu and Li Fai. But interestingly, he's more famous by his love story, not by his writings. Sima was so talented that King had sent him to Liang in his young age for studying. But after King said, he had to come back to his hometown with no job and no money. But he had to start, but fortunately, many nobles who heard about his great talents held a big feast for him to feed, and then Sima had to write a poem for them in exchange. Because of his great appearance, as you see in this picture, and his great words, people gathered and crowded to see this young and talented writer. When one day Sima was invited by Su Wanwang, the landlord of the Songdo. By hearing that this young and talented guy visited her house, the Su Wanzun, the daughter of the landlord, decided to spy on him at the back door, and she really did. But funny, he had noticed her earlier. So when Sima was asked to sing a song he had wrote, Sima made a serenade immediately and sang for her at the back door. And feeling love, they didn't moonlight, and living all they have. And these are the pictures of Sima and Suwon Soon's. But because Sima had no money, so they ran a small restaurant and lived happily. And to heard about this, to heard about this story, the king called them to capital and invested Sima to prime minister. Finally, Sima's family could gain the power again, and they live. Guess what? They live happily ever after. This love story is really famous for some people in Songzhou, and I really hope you guys to get interested in Chinese literature by this. And you can Google it because it has many interesting after story. And do you have any questions? Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone. I'm Tina, major in Chinese language and literature. I will introduce about a Chinese writer who received the Nobel Prize in Literature. Mo Yan is his pen name and his real name is Guan Moye. The meaning of Mo Yan is not to speak. It is built by his parents during Chinese Cultural Revolution. He won the Nobel Prize with his work Red Sorghum in 2012, and the story is about a realistic portrayal of Chinese standing up against two Japanese soldiers. Oh, in Gaomi County, and another famous novel in his work is A Nation of Alcohol. The story is about Juku, the city cook young child and accumulate money. It is interesting to treat human fresh issues, so I want to read this book and I want you read these books too. Um, Anyway, he wrote many interesting books, and the organizer said he created the harmonies of realism and fantasy with historical and social perspectives. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Ha-eun and my major is English Language and Literature. Today I will present about jobs of my major. I have divided my topic into 4 parts: interpreter, translator, teacher, and trader. First is interpreter. Interpreter will help communicate with each other in different languages. As exchange between nations are actively increased, interpreters has become a professional occupation. They mainly work in a place where many persons come, such as seminar or international performance. Uh, they, they, they should have a high level of language ability and to the life word in each situation. Interpreters Interpreters' average pay is 20 million. Second is trader. They translate text into a desired language. They mainly translate technical book or literary works. They work in many fields such as media, medical, or education. They are available freelancers, so their pay is not fixed, but they receive only 800 to 1800 per page. Third is teacher. As you know, most people who major in English become a teacher because the knowledge that they learn during their religion class is very helpful in becoming teacher. Teacher, this job is very stable, so many people prefer to become a teacher. Teachers' average pay is 13 million. The last one is trader. Trader organizes data required for export or import and write contract content. They trade in the name of a company. They should have a lot of knowledge about not only language but also culture that associates country of country. They have advantage if they can speak various languages as well as English. Traders' average pay is more than 30 million. Do you have any question? Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Son and I talk about Oxford University. Oxford University, a public university in the UK. It is the oldest university in the English language and consists 38 colleges and 6 permanent private schools. It was originally a boys' school, but since 1920, girls have been able to enter. It is also famous as a shooting location for Harry Potter. There are 27 Nobel Prize winners, all of whom are Nobel Prize in Literature winners. And writer of Lord of the Rings, J.R. Tolkien, and author of the Chronicle of Narnia, C.S. Lewis, taught English in the Oxford. And Lewis Carroll of Alice in Wonderland was a professor of mathematics in Oxford University. As the second oldest university, it has a lot of collections. Bodleian Library is the second largest library in the UK after the National Library of England. It was opened 1327. By 1602, the library was rebuilt. The library was rebuilt by Lord Bodley in an ever-expanding collection. In addition, it has been the first deposit system of all publishing press and has kept all the publications that has been issued for hundreds of years by paying one copy of all books published in the UK. In April 2013, the law on electronic deposit was also designated. Thanks for. Do you have any question? Later talk later talk about Sanasanya. Tina talk about Moyen, and Han talk about job of English literature, and I talk about Oxford University. Thank you for listening.
All right, group 3, come on up, group 3. We're further gonna make it. Olivia, first, second, third, second. Bella, first. Lily,
Third.
third. Sandra, fourth. Okay, okay, Bella, let's go. Let's go. We're barely gonna make it.
Test. Hi guys, this is group 3. Let me introduce our group. Our group has 4 members, Bella, Olivia, Lily, and Sandra. We choose English language and literature as a main topic. Uh, I, Bella, talk about what this major study about. And second, Olivia talk about kinds of jobs, works, and what they do and pay. And second, Lily talk about historical events related to English literature. And finally, Sandra talk about famous people in this major. So let's find out English language and literature. First, this major study English as language. To be good at English, this major read essay in English. It trains people to read English sentences and makes people understanding English sentences profoundly. Also, it helps people to know how to read long essay in English efficiently. And second, this major study history of English literature. To study English literature in historical context, this major study historical events related to English literature. People can learn about religious aspect of English literature and also know the English literature more profoundly with widened eyes. Last, this major study literature with myth. To understand myth and literature using myth profoundly, this major study them by connecting together. And by doing that, people can understand vague or difficult myth or literature using myths easily or profoundly. And also by knowing the method of using myth in literature, people can understand the writer's intention in book and stream of story. Yes, all this major study about makes people be good at English and not just can read English sentences but also can enjoy English literature. Also, it makes people sight wide to widen eyes. My presentation is over and next performer Olivia deal with kinds of jobs, works, and what they do and pay.
Hi, my name is Olivia. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about jobs and works after graduating from the Department of English Language and Literature. The first job I chose is an English teacher. Many students who majored in English language and literature want to be an English teacher. They teach English to students according to curriculum. Also, they listen to students' troubles and advise them about their career. In order to become an English teacher in middle or high schools, they must have a teaching license. But only some people in English major can get it. So people can teach English in academy or through private tutoring. Their monthly salary usually 300 million won. 3 billion won. The second one is a translator. Why can't we understand the foreign movies while watching them? The reason is a translator translates the script into Korean or English language and writes subtitles on the screen. Besides, they translate various documents, books, news, reports, and journalize into Korean or English language. They study the original text and try to translate the original ideas and emotions literally. They are not paid regularly, but their salary is usually over 2 million won. Finally, I would like to introduce tour guides. Tour guides accompany tourists and help them make a satisfactory trip. Before traveling, they understand the purpose of trip, gather information about destination, and check accommodations and transportation facilities. on the spot, they can communicate fluently in English. And they explains the tour schedule to tourists and guides them and provide them with the history, culture, and information about tourist attractions. Their monthly salary is usually over 2 million won. Until now, I introduced 3 typical jobs related to English. Please send your questions for the Q&A session at the end. Thank you for listening. Hi, my name is Lily, and I will talk about historical events about English language. First, it is the propagation of Christianity. Christianity was based on Rome, thus contributing to the use of Roman alphabet. During the late 6th century, Christianity was spread throughout the world. And also, Christianity affected English literature. For example, it is Bible. Bible is like Christianity's law books. In 1384, John Wycliffe secretly translated Bible. Second, the following event is the Renaissance period. Renaissance period, which began in the 14th century. Throughout 16th and 17th century, many changes occurred in the Renaissance period. Many works in Latin and Greek became popular. Many words entered into English from Latin and Greek. The third historical event is development typography. This was dramatic shift in English language. Because in 1476, and William Caxton published his writings by combining irregular words and grammar. Finally, it is the migration of new continent. British constructed their colonial in North America. They left for America for religious freedom. Throughout this movement, the number of English users has risen dramatically. This is my presentation about historical events, and I talk about Christianity, Renaissance period, development of typography, and migration of new continent. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Sandra. Today I talk about the famous people in English literature. First, do you know him? He is a famous dramatist, William Shakespeare. Born in England, he lives a life of affluence in his childhood, but his family's fortune was starting to decline, so he had no choice but to quit school and go to London. When he is in London, he can show his talent of drama. Since then, he became the best man recognized by people. From 1590 to 1630, he published 37 pieces of work. Famous the four major tragedies, Merchant of Venice, and Romeo and Juliet are in this work. His style of work are various and not limited to any one genre. His excellent writing skills and recognition of human beings make Shakespeare the most famous dramatist. Second, this ridiculous picture is a cover of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, written by Washington Irving. Washington Irving is a novelist and essayist born in New York. He lives a time when America is still ruler and far behind Europe in literature. In this situation, he became the first American writer to achieve an international reputation. His famous works are Rip Van Winkle and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. These works are humorous, mysterious, and show American colors well. For this reason, his works made sensation and become a model of subsequent American literature. And Washington Irving started to be called the father of American literature. Until now, our team presents description, the history, and famous people in English language and literature. Do you have any questions? Thank you for listening.
Okay. Okay, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. There's another class coming in, literally right now. So great job. I watched 15 presentations yesterday, and I would say you guys did some of the best I've seen since yesterday. So great job, everyone. Great job. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Okay, bye.
Bye.
아,